Hello, winners, and welcome to Two for the Win with your hosts, Nick and Will. We have a special guest today to talk about the Star of the Seas. Is it Nick, the Star of the Seas? No. Is it me? No. It's an actual ship, Star of the Seas. So, while Mr. Baby Blue Hat gets it all fixed, we will make sure to introduce our guest in a minute. But before we do, please be sure to share, subscribe, and follow Two for the Win on your favorite platform. I want to give a shout out to Nick Menard and Associates with Dream Vacations for sponsoring today's episode. Thank you, Nick Menard and your associates.
Thank you very much. Hello, winners. Hope you have a wonderful Wednesday today. And yes, today we have a special guest. And how special, I don't know. You guys will tell us, in the comment below after the recording. But yeah, we have Mr. Taylor Walker live here in studio. For the first time, we have a live guest actually in the studio. So Tyler is a leader for a Fortune 500 organization, and also joined Nick Mona and Associates with Dream Vacations recently. The fast start. So great things coming his way. So thank you so much for joining us today.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I feel like the ultimate long-time listener, first-time caller situation. So glad to be in studio to be here today.
Absolutely. So just to give you a little bit context, I went with Tyler on Star of the Sea a few weeks ago now, and it was a great experience. I have to say, I really enjoyed it, but I wanted Tyler to give his perspective because I think you guys heard a lot about my perspective on things. So I prefer to give it to from someone else. So first question is really what is your first impression when you went on Star? Because you are an avid cruiser, so you went to pretty much every ships of Royal Caribbean. So tell us more about what you feel about the Star of the Sea first experience.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was fantastic. Get to be a part of an inaugural sailing, I think, with any ship is really cool, first off. I also think with the icon class of ships that Royal Caribbean has, a lot of people's first thought is, how the heck does that thing actually float? So first thought as well for me, it's amazing to see what they do with the ship. Nick and I both had seen several videos along the shipbuilding process and things they were adding, and even seeing some of the videos from, I think, the original showcase they did with the cruise. Really cool to see everything that they included on the ship, the variety of activities. I think just there's no shortage of entertainment to be had, old, young, no matter what age, there's plenty to do for everyone. I think that's really cool. And we spent a lot of time day one just walking around the entire ship, getting some pictures, seeing everything, seeing the layout, getting a feel for it. And just, it took a while. Poor Nick's back. I think he was over walking at that point, but it was
dragging luggage.
Yeah, it was fantastic just to see how much they actually fit there.
That's because all the chips he was carrying in his pocket, so it weighed him down.
Yeah, see? But no, I think first impressions is just wow, how much they fit, all the stuff to do is really cool to see the amount of entertainment. And I know Royal's known for family friendly, everything there. So really fun to see just how much they fit within the walls of that ship. And then once we got to our room, I think just really seeing how nice everything was. I think for a standard balcony room, it was probably more spacious than I expected, and a lot of storage everywhere. I think they did a really good job with the layout, creating spaces for storage, which is, I think, oftentimes a problem on some standard cruise ship rooms. But this was a phenomenal job done with just how they laid everything out and the amount of places, and everything is nicely appointed. And I think it helps. We're on one of the inaugural sailings, and so everything is nice and new. It's fantastic. But yeah, it was those are some of the first overall impression takeaways.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So yeah, I agree about the storage piece. I couldn't believe how many little corner were actually it's possible to open everywhere. Every piece of the wall, you can pretty much open, and it's the furniture piece, it's great. We didn't struggle about putting all our stuff away, that's for sure. So that's great. Yeah, and just so people know, that's very similar, the layout as the icon.
Mm.
And the next one, the legend, next summer, it's gonna be also very, very similar. It's funny that they bring back the same name as the old ship. I'm not sure if I like it, but I think it's interesting. And fun fact, they built it in 8 months or 9 months. The Legend of the Seas.
Mhm.
That's insane in Finland. So for people who likes little anecdotes, well, the ships are built in Finland. So it's pretty cool to know. But yeah, I agree 100% with Tyler. And can you tell us a little bit about maybe the different experience that's possible to do for people inside? You mentioned that it's family oriented, like a cruise line, of course, but outside of that, we had a lot of fun in different activities, different events. So can you share a little bit more about that to our audience?
Yeah, I think going through the promenade deck, plenty of things to do there. There's different bars and restaurants that are all included as part of things, and then there's also some separate venues that are additional a la carte fees depending on what you want to do. I think the setup with the icon class where they have the neighborhoods, so you have the family neighborhoods, you have the suite neighborhoods, you have all those mixed within the ship and some of the different entertainment areas. You go up to the pool deck and there's dining options, there's different pool options, they have adult only places, they have kid friendly places, they have all the slides, which we didn't get Nick on all the slides that we wanted to get him on, but
I'm not guilty of those slides who broke down, please.
but it was I think those areas, seeing how the layout is, we probably stopped in more than our share of different bar venues throughout the ship, and I think we made an intent to try and hit most of them.
Exactly.
The one question I have on that, right?
Yeah.
For followers. Yeah, that's for followers.
So
We just did that for the followers. We didn't want to do it, but it's we need to experience them all so we can explain better to our clients.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
But did they have honeycomb?
So you mentioned the adults only. I mean, I don't have a family. We have a lot of clients with families, so we explain that as well. But for adults piece, I love the hideaway. Like this is something. The hideaway is the adults only part. So it's in the back of the ship when you have like a infinity pool.
Yep.
You have a bar, you have a 2 huge jacuzzi, you have a lot of space to just tan.
Yeah,
and you have
loungers.
a lot of
Yeah.
lounges, a big area. And the infinity pool is super cool with nice music, nice atmosphere, no kids running around. I mean, no under 18 years old kid running around. But it was really cool to be there. I really enjoyed it. It was just closed once because it was the water was heavy, like it was moving very much, and the water were like flying around. But otherwise, that was really like a perfect experience, I would say. So really good. But I want to touch base about the part for families, for children.
Mhm.
So I know you go sometimes with your son and with your family, and I know it's important for you to understand what's possible there for your son. So can you explain, because we will, if you go on a YouTube channel, you will see the picture we took and some videos about this. But it's, for me, I was impressed how big it was, and literally for each age category. But can you walk us through a little bit about what's possible to do?
Yeah, I think the first big thing with Royal, and obviously with all of their ships, but with Star of the Seas, they've done this so well. They have the Adventure Ocean Club, which goes through ages 0 to 6 months, and then 6 to 2 months, 2 to 5 years old, up to
6 to 2 years.
No.
6 to 2 months.
No.
6 months to 2 years.
6 months to 2 years, and then 2 to 5 years old, and then they bridge the gaps all the way up to under 18. So they have the teens club and the kids club in different areas. It was the biggest one I've seen. Obviously, no shock there with the ship being the biggest in the world, but really massive Adventure Ocean Camp Club. They have lots of games and activities. They actually have areas where the families can come in and play some of the games that are around the Adventure Ocean Camp area. So really cool for that. Selfishly, I'm thinking, all right, like if my son's with me, if we're doing something, then it would be really cool to see his reaction and how big and spacious everything was and some of the activities they have. And then going through, I think the pool deck, probably second most popular area. They have, I don't even know how many slides there were, but there's endless opportunities for wearing your kids out. That's where my mind went. But I'm thinking, how much energy could I get out of him here? And so there's a ton of opportunity there. They have the flow rider in the back of the ship as well. There's rock climbing to do. There's the mini golf. So a lot of opportunity on the pool deck as well. And then if you go down into the neighborhood area, which is in the middle of the ship, there's actually an area that has the splash pad for the kids, the carousel in the middle. There's interactive activities. There's also a little small playground over there in the neighborhood, which he would be enamored with. I'm just thinking about my son's interest there. But it was really cool just to walk through the neighborhood and see everything there as well. And then of course you have some of the different dining options. You have the pizza. The neighborhood area also has like 2 different kind of like take and go, easy, family-friendly food options. So there's that stuff as well if you're thinking beyond just activities, thinking about places to eat, things to do, unless you're wanting to do a more sit-down type of dinner. But at least I know for us, that's typically not what we do with our child. I'm not going to make him sit through that while we're on vacation. So plenty of food options there as well for the take-and-go category.
Fantastic. So before passing the mic to my co-host and annoying friends Will about the food options that I know he will ask. Last thing before we jump into the food option, the casino. Yeah. We need to talk about that. We both love playing. So a word based on all the ships you experienced, like about the casino on Star.
Yeah, no, really spacious. I think with being on the inaugural setting, we did have a slightly smaller capacity. So we weren't at full capacity. It felt like there was more open spaces. But I think even at full capacity, with the amount of space and walkways and things they have in the casino, selfishly, that's kind of what I was happy about. I've been in some casinos that are a little bit tighter. It's hard to get around. You're bumping into people just to walk through. But this was great. Everything was spacious, open. And then, I mean, the gameplay, there's plenty of options slot-wise. So if you're a slot player, tons and tons of options spread around, a lot of newer games. And so you're going to be able to go through some of the like popular favorite slot games that are out right now. And then I think us spending a lot of time on table games was really nice, aside from the one piece of burnt felt, which we got the backstory around what had happened on the sailing just before ours. But aside from that, I mean, everything's super nice, well appointed, and it was a lot of fun. I think we might have had just as much fun as the dealers and pit bosses were having with interacting with some of the crowd. So yeah, it was shout out to Brian if you ever hear this. Thank you, brother. But yeah, I think just going through some of that, it was a lot of fun, and just really enjoyable time to be in the casino. And I think we maybe spent a little too much time, but it was fun. It was well worth it.
Never too much. No, it was super fun. And yeah, so you have the main, casino with like the bar next to it, like a majority of ships have, but you have also a section in the back, where some table games are actually behind some slots machine that I actually discovered the last day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you want to be more like on an isolated place, that's actually a good place. I have to say it's my second best experience, number 2 probably in casino. And we're going to talk the next couple of weeks about the Wonder of the Sea, which is a ship from 2022 that I went on like a couple of times already, and it's going to be an episode on that the next couple of weeks. I like their casino a little bit better. That's bigger as well. But Star, definitely a great experience, and I love the atmosphere with the dealers. Majority of them are fantastic. They're really game. They're really fun. So definitely, if you like to gamble and if you like to have some fun at night at the casino, that's definitely a place I would recommend.
Yeah, and I'll add just the one thing on. You mentioned we found the area, I think, on the third night with some additional TVs and everything over there. I think it's a really good point. A lot of the casinos, in my experience on cruise ships, there's kind of a lack of that. So if you do want to stay up to date on sports, whatever's going on, it was nice to have some of the screens around. And there's a lot more even throughout the rest of the casino than what I've typically seen on ships. So for those of you sport fanatics, I know we have some of the listeners and winners out there that tune in on Fridays. So that was really good just to have that ability to keep up to date on some of the games and scores of what was going on too while you're playing.
Awesome. So the question I was trying to ask earlier, but my co-host was hogging the mic, was, did they have honeycomb? for the drink.
We did not see honeycomb offered.
Okay.
I know that you have an affinity for
I
this
do.
from the Virgin voyage,
Yeah.
but we did not see honeycomb offered on the menu. So
All right, so minus.
maybe a special request.
No.
I don't know if they'll recreate it perfectly, but yeah.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, let's talk about entertainment. So I saw some of the pictures. So maybe talk a little bit about what was on board, what you saw, and what other things maybe you didn't see but was available.
Yeah, I think a couple of the things we saw, adult comedy, absolutely hilarious. So the three act performers they had up there, phenomenal job. Some good crowd interaction, which made it a little more entertaining too. So they had the adult comedy was a good time. I would definitely recommend for any of the entertainment things that someone does want to embark on, try to make sure that you can get a reservation earlier on. Royal does a good job with their app ahead of the sailing. Try to make sure you do that. It makes it a lot easier. We had to queue for a little bit, but we're able to make it in. So, adult comedy, fantastic. We got to walk through. We didn't see the Aqua Theater show, but we got to walk through the Aquadome. Really, really cool. So, and I think that's one thing that's kind of interesting to see as you look at the ship. The Aquadome is actually in the front, where in some of the past, like Oasis class ships, the Aquadome is the Aqua Theater is gonna be in the very back of the ship on that sort of promenade quasi deck. But the Aquadome is actually in the front. It's part of that glass structure you see. So getting to walk through there, you get to see where the actual performance is done, and they were just wrapping up practice as we were going through. So we got to see some of the performers that are on the ship. And then also as you walk around the very, very front, when you get on the other side of the Aqua Theater, there's actually another bar and like a lounge area. So you can actually sit in the front of the ship and just kind of, there's, little cabanas that you can sit and watch, and you're covered indoors. So really cool to see some of that. And then I think we mentioned a couple of the adult entertainment areas. So the Icon class ships now, they're the only ones with the hideaway that Nick mentioned with the Infinity Edge pool. And then they also have what's called Swim and Tonic, which is recently turned into an adult area, swim up bar type place on another part of the pool deck. So those kind of couple areas are ones we really hit on. We didn't get to one of the Royal Theater shows, but heard really good feedback from one of the players we spoke with in the casino who had attended. And so I think that would be another venue worth checking out. I heard it's the Back to the Future production they have right now, which seems really cool. Our stateroom attendant was nice enough to get me a Marty McFly duck that they have. So I was able to bring that back and get it to my son. So he was super happy about seeing the duck, even though I had to sort of explain what Marty McFly was. It was all good. And so I think those would be some of the main entertainment areas. Nick, if you want to add, I think you have a couple of videos and maybe we can get it. I don't know if they can get it on YouTube.
It is there on YouTube. You can check it out. I would just add the ice skating. Also, we didn't go on that one. I know we did a few in other ships as well. We didn't do it. We heard mixed reviews. Some really liked it. Some found that it was like always the same kind. But if you are into that, there is also the ability to experience that on the ship. It's kind of big. We took pictures where we didn't go during the show itself because we were too busy at the casino, I think. but definitely a lot of options. Like when you wanna, if you're not into casino and you said I wanted to have like a quiet evening, going to eat and then have a show and calling it a night, you will be able to do something different every evening on Star of the Sea without any kind of issue.
Yeah. I think multiple entertainment venues, multiple eatery venues, no shortage of some of the things to occupy, wherever it is you want to be that night.
To spice up the ice skating, they should have went Blades of Glory style.
Gets the people going.
Fun stuff. So what about food? Like what stood out? I know you said you didn't really do certain things, but like anything that really stood out where you're like, wow, this is actually really good.
Yeah, I will say I was very impressed and super happy with the Windjammer buffet on the embarkation day. They actually had a full spread everywhere of lobster tail, steak, and everything. Not what you're traditionally going to see out of a cruise buffet, but that was fantastic. I also think the way that they've organized some of the restaurants in terms of things along the promenade deck. So you have the Italian Giovanni's, you have the karaoke bars, and then you have right across like the schooner bar, and then you'll have the Latin eatery that's downstairs as well. You have the pizza and Sorrento's, which my wife was very impressed with the pictures we took of Sorrento's as being one of the nicer Sorrento's that we've seen. But you have everything kind of intermingled in certain areas, and so it's cool because it almost forces you to walk around and see certain things in certain parts of the ship. There's a ton of sculptures hidden throughout the ship, and there's some little Easter eggs in some of the sculptures. So you get to see a lot of that just naturally in how you're going to interact and entertain yourself throughout the cruise, which is cool.
That's awesome. That's very cool. And late night, what was available for late night snacking if you're trying to keep the alcohol down?
Yeah. I think pizza is probably the most popular option. There is also the Pearl Cafe, which is right next to the giant kinetic sculpture that's on the main deck as you walk in the ship. So the Pearl Cafe is 24 hours. The Sorrento's Pizza is open until 3 a.m. I think that's a very popular late night spot.
There we go.
So a lot of people coming and stumbling out of the casino or nightclubs, and depending on how we're feeling, I think that's probably one of the more popular places. I don't think they're rushing to the Pearl Cafe, but that's also 24 hours, which is nice to go and have the Pearl, which is a grab and go type eatery.
Very cool. Very cool. And I guess the other question with that is going back to entertainment a little bit. Silent disco? You guys do silent disco or just karaoke?
We did not see the silent disco. I think they did that on the time when we were actually inside the adult comedy area. But when we came out of the adult comedy, it wasn't entertaining because we were wondering when the balloons they had strapped in the promenade deck, when they were going to release those. And we came out in a moment where there's music and excitement and something's going on down by the Pearl. And we're overlooking this, and it's like a flash dance mob.
Oh.
And I thought, okay, cool, this is going to be it when they drop the balloons. But the flash dance mob just kept going, and it didn't seem like they were dropping balloons anytime soon. So I'm like, maybe we're in the wrong time for this. So, but it was fun to walk out and see the dance mob going on.
Yeah, you have also like for people who like Latin music, there's a Latin music plays
Boleros.
very loud, where you had a lot of activities at night. So coming out of the casino, we could hear the Latin music, and people like packed, like there was packed like a club, and Latinos like to have fun late at night. So it was fun to see, when you get to the lift, to see that they were still going strong.
The Latin music still going strong. The dueling pianos still going very strong because they have the dueling pianos separate from the schooner bar that also has their own piano music going. There's the karaoke. There's also the country music that they were doing downstairs. So you could walk around like the main promenade deck and get all different flavors, and each one of them, I think, pretty sufficiently packed at that point in the night when we saw it.
Yeah, the double piano thing is fantastic. I mean, for people who never did it, it's fun. Usually they ask the crowd, what they want to play, and then they just battle, and it's pretty cool. So it's a fun place to just sit down, have a drink, and just have some fun before going back playing some casino time.
Yeah, hey, the casino time's important.
Yeah, and my guess is at some point with the dueling pianos, they played Sweet Caroline.
Yeah. We actually heard Sweet Caroline from the country bar.
Oh, really?
So someone had requested it at the country bar, so we did hear them play that.
Neil Diamond, Rock On. There we go. It keeps on going.
Yeah.
So, the ship is massive, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned it's the largest. So did it feel overwhelming, or was the layout really easy to navigate, and like the elevator situation? Maybe talk a little bit about that.
I will say the elevator situation is one of my favorite parts that they've done on this. So instead of, you go and tap up or down and you queue and figure out, and you might have too many people that are waiting to get on one elevator, they have the kiosks in the lift area in the front and aft of the ship that will actually tell you press what floor, it'll tell you which elevator to go to. So that way it kind of groups people going to similar floors together, but then also it's making sure that you're not having too many people crowding over to one elevator to get on. So I think that was another feature that helped us out a lot, saves a lot of time. I mean, when you're going 15, 16 decks sometimes in different places, like it's really nice to have that feature. So I would say for that, like one of the better things that kind of struck me as this is really convenient and helpful. And I think only the Icon class ships as of right now have that feature. So Icon and Star and Legend next summer being that.
That's awesome. Do you have any other questions?
Now you can ask your famous question.
There it is. So you are a listener of the show, so you know what's coming. So was there a question we didn't ask that we should, that you wanted to chat about with us?
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing is if you have some questions about Star, about Royal, about other ships, I think the one piece is, go talk to whoever it is that you have as a contact in travel. Obviously, with Nick Mornard and Associates with Dream Vacations, great place to start. But with Star, it was really fun to see and interact with some of the guests who actually didn't even have a notion of how to use a travel agent. So we talked to a couple different people, not in terms of, hey, trying to get the word out, but just, hey, how'd you hear about this? How'd you get on the naming ceremony? Because that was, I guess I should have mentioned that earlier. We were on the showcase sailing where they actually did the naming ceremony. So really cool to be on the ship for that. We had special guest executives who were on the ship, everything else. So really fun there. But it was cool to talk to some people just in how they were able to get in with the showcase sailings, because these were actually set up as sailings that were not sold as part of the original bookings since the ship was delivered early. And so it was fun to be a part of that. And I think just talking to people, figuring out, what some of their journeys were, what their journeys are in cruising, and talking about, some of their opinions about Star and some of the other ships they've been on or other cruise lines they've been on. So I think just get in contact with whoever it is you want to learn more about, great place to start. And I think for that, just go out and learn, experience. It's fun to be a part of that. If you want to learn more about some of the casino play, I am happy to help with some of that. I've gotten our host here, Nick, up to speed on a lot of things. So it's really good. There's some great programs out there to get on cruises more often, which is, I think at that point, anyone who is listening to Wanderlust Wednesday, that should be their goal. So, a couple things there.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Taylor. It sounds like a phenomenal ship and a phenomenal time. Lots to do for really almost anybody. It runs a full spectrum on that one. So appreciate you sharing your experience, and keep cruising, baby. Keep cruising.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
Oh, awesome. So there you have it, folks. Thanks again to Taylor Walker for joining us and sharing his experience on the Royal Caribbean Star of the Seas. I almost said seas on that one. And that'll do it for today's episode, for Nick completely loses his mind. So please be sure to subscribe, share, and follow. 2 for the Win on your favorite platform. And thanks again to Nick Menard and Associates with Dream Vacation. It might be one associate short after this episode for sponsoring today's episode. That'll do it.